All right, everybody, welcome to Mic Check. We got a jam-packed show. I appreciate y'all checking. If this is your first time with me here, subscribe, drop a comment, like this video, let me know what you think. We are going to be all over the place today. We do have some comic stuff. We got some WWE. We got some Hollywood. We also have some updates on stuff we talked about weeks back here on the show. So there were some Marvel leaks this week. We saw, some of us did, I don't know if you guys did, there was some pretty shitty quality videos, but there was Doomsday leak, a few of them. There was a Spider-Man Brand New Day leak. We're going to get into that. A lot of shit's changing. We may actually know who Sadie Sink is playing. Plus, Avatar Fire and Ash drops this week, drops tomorrow, depending on when you're watching this. It may be out already. These trailers were supposed to be, or these teasers were supposed to be solely for this movie. Obviously, they leaked a little bit sooner. The reviews, first reviews for this movie are in, and I think it's going to back up at least what I've been saying about this movie for a while. So we'll get into that in a little bit. John Cena, I am fresh off of my crash out from other stuff. Those of you that are not interns that did not watch that, I'll sum it up for you. I was pissed. Not that he lost. I was pissed that he tapped out. But after a few days, after watching Monday Night Raw, I may have some additional thoughts on that. Then on a more serious note, Hollywood lost a director, amazing director, Rob Reiner, and his wife this past week. Terrible tragedy. And there was some odd responses, odd comments made by the Donald himself. Also, there was a situation we talked about on this show when we first started. It's been 12 weeks now. This is episode 12, so appreciate y'all watching this and keeping this thing going. But we talked about David, the rapper, and there's some new, let's just say that situation's heating up, literally. Also, yesterday, December 16th, was the anniversary of the MCU's Tony Stark's parents' death. That's a fucking word salad there, right? December 16th was the anniversary of that, which sparked a big conversation online on the internets about Team Cap, Team Iron Man. So we're also going to revisit that here on this episode. So let's hop right into this. Let's get into Avatar Fire and Ash. Reviews are out. The review embargo has been lifted. I contemplated going to the theaters. Let me back up. I contemplated buying a ticket to this movie because I didn't want to miss out. You know, FOMO, fear of missing out, bro. Fear of missing out on the Avengers teasers. But thankfully, they've been leaked. We're going to talk about those in a minute, but there's no need for me to buy a ticket to go anywhere near this movie. And the funny thing about this is I've said this online. I've said this on past podcasts and shit. And there's a group of people that literally think it's the craziest take in the world. Like, how could you not like Avatar 2 and 3? Like, what's right? It's a critically acclaimed. It's the biggest, box office, yada. Okay, bro. I saw the first one. I liked the first one. I had no desire to see a sequel. I think just because Hollywood, just because these movie studios put out a sequel doesn't mean that if I was a fan of the first one, I'm going to like it or even want to see it. So I never seen the second one, have no interest in the third one. I think they're unnecessary movies. A lot like Beetlejuice, the second Beetlejuice movie. Waste of everybody's fucking time. We waited 30 years for this movie, and that was the shit show they gave us. It's not the same length of time, but it was a while since Avatar, the first one. I think it was 2009 maybe. And then the second one came out, a couple years ago? So over 10 years. I don't think anybody, the movie did well. I'm just speaking for myself, I guess. But what have we learned about Fire and Ash so far? It currently sits at 71% on Rotten Tomatoes based on 100 reviews. Now, we know that Rotten Tomatoes scores are not everything. We know that. We know that the way they pick these scores, the way they set these scores is someone goes out and gathers a bunch of critic reviews, and they then look at what percentage of those reviews were positive, and that becomes your Rotten Tomatoes score. So, but what does this score mean? All it means is that it is the lowest ranking Avatar movie on Rotten Tomatoes so far. The OG movie had an 81%. The sequel, The Way of the Waters, got 76%. So this movie's lower than both of those. What have the reviews said so far? They've said that, the action scenes, the visuals, all look great. It's a technical masterpiece, some of them even said. They praised the new movie's villain. Then on the negative side, they said that it was way too repetitive. Felt a lot like the sequel. Felt a lot like The Way of the Water. So, what does that mean? It means I still have no interest in going to see it. It means maybe some of you that were on the fence, that might deter you from going to see it. But I wanted, since we are talking Rotten Tomatoes scores, and since everybody thinks I'm so not everybody, a good chunk of people think I'm crazy to not glaze Avatar, to not want to go see the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, all of them. I figured let's take their Rotten Tomatoes score. Let's compare it to what we talk about all the time, MCU movies. Let's see where it would rank. So at 71 for Avatar Fire and Ash, that score is lower than Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 is at a 72%. And then you go from there to Doctor Strange 2, which is 74, Avengers Age of Ultron 76, the OG Thor 77, Deadpool Wolverine 78, Iron Man 3 79, Black Widow 79, and even Captain Marvel 79. Now, these numbers are all fucked up because there ain't no way in hell Doctor Strange 2 and Avengers Age of Ultron isn't a better movie than Thor, Iron Man 3, Black Widow, Captain America. So, granted, none of these scores are accurate, hence why we have the segment here, what the fuck, Rotten Tomatoes. But if we're using their scores, this movie, critics are saying it ain't as good as those. And then the other ones that everybody fucking glazes, Avatar 2 is at a 77, I believe, 76. That still wouldn't be above this tier of movies. The first one, 81% for the first movie. That would be lower than Doctor Strange 1, which is 89%, Ant-Man and the Wasp, 87%, Infinity War, 85%. This is crazy, too, that Infinity War has a lower Rotten Tomatoes scores than Ant-Man and the Wasp and Doctor Strange. Guardians 2, Black Panther 2, Ant-Man, Guardians 3, and it would put it right above Captain America, the First Avenger. So now, I only bring up those numbers to give context. Because the same people that are gathering these scores, gathering these reviews to generate these scores, the same motherfuckers that scored the rest of this shit. So even by their jacked up standards, these movies are not top notch movies. They're in the higher, they're good, I guess, but it's not crazy to be like, I don't fucking like that shit. I have seen enough of the blue people in the water. I'm good. Or at first they were in the forest, then they're in the woods, now they're in the fire. Oh my God. So I'm good. I'm all set. Now, let's talk about, actually, we'll wait. We'll get into the trailers in a little bit. We'll shift gears a little bit. Iron Man 3 was a movie on that list. Iron Man 3 was a movie that I actually like, dude. This movie is a Christmas movie. Iron Man 3 has been a Christmas movie in my house for at least the past 5 years. I think that's when I discovered that, you know what? This is actually a Christmas movie. Tony's getting Pepper Christmas presents. I mean, why would you get someone a Christmas present in a movie that wasn't a Christmas movie, right? There's a big Christmas tree. There's that. There's snow. It's cold. I mean, it takes place around Christmas. To me, Christmas movie. You could argue that Christmas doesn't play a major role in the plot of this movie. You know, I was listening to Macaulay Culkin talk about Die Hard. He says Die Hard's not a Christmas movie. Now, he called himself the godfather of Christmas movies because he is in two of the, everybody's favorite Christmas movies, Home Alone 1 and 2. I think Home Alone 1 is the better movie of the two. I definitely would take Home Alone 1 all day over the second one. But he says Die Hard's not, and he said it for that. I've never seen Die Hard, believe it or not. But he said it for that reason, that you could take Christmas out of that movie. Says you can slide it any other holiday and it would work. Could you say that for this movie, Iron Man 3? I mean, if you take Christmas out the movie, depending on what other holiday we are in, you're likely to lose the snow aspect, the weather, which I think played a role in this. You're also, if you take Christmas out of this movie, then what the fuck is Tony getting Pepper presents for? I guess it could be Valentine's Day. I guess it could be something else. So, possibly if you're using that logic, but you don't let facts get in the way of a good story. So instead, I consider Iron Man 3 Christmas movie. It's on my list every single year. But why am I talking about Iron Man 3? The next MCU project. We're talking so much about Doomsday, Brand New Day, Secret Wars, all this shit. We're talking so much about that. It's like we forget. We forgot. Wonder Man's coming. January something. I don't even know when the fuck it's coming. Why am I bringing up Wonder Man? So Ben Kingsley, who plays Trevor Slattery in this movie, played Trevor Slattery in the Iron Man 3 movie, the fake Mandarin, all that stuff. He says, he was doing some interviews about Wonder Man, and he says the Marvel's new series is like a biopic of Trevor, as well as a two-hander with, Wonder Man, Simon Williams. This show is going to go back to the pre-Iron Man 3 days of Trevor Slattery, show some of before he became the Mandarin, and then after as well. So I'm curious, what do y'all think? How do y'all feel about this show, Wonder Man? I feel like it doesn't get any marketing, doesn't get any promo. Nobody talks about it. It's almost as if it's just going to be another project on Disney Plus that, whether it's good or bad, nobody fucking watches it. It's too bad. It's unfortunate. I think it's probably going to be a decent show. The bar has been set pretty low as of late. As long as it's not a damn Secret Invasion or some shit like that, Agatha, Ironheart, as long as it's better than those, I guess, we'll take it. I will. So I'm actually looking forward to it. Ben Kingsley in this. I think his character, Trevor Slattery, is a fun character in Marvel, in the MCU. He also showed up in Shang-Chi. So who knows? This may serve as somewhat of a prequel to the Iron Man 3 days, specifically Trevor Slattery. But what else could this tie into? In the comics, there's a huge connection between Vision and Wonder Man. Wanda, there's a whole connection there. So I got to imagine that this isn't just some one-off show that doesn't tie into anything, and it's not just here to be a prequel of the Iron Man 3 days. So who knows? All right. Speaking of trailers, speaking of things that have leaked this week, I mentioned everybody's focus is on Doomsday, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Well, Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer leaked today. Not today, leaked this week. There was an Avengers Doomsday trailer teaser that also leaked this week. Handful of things were revealed in these. Before we get into that, why did the only people that had access or had the balls to record and leak these trailers, why are they also the only two motherfuckers in this world still using a BlackBerry from 2008 to record videos? Why? Why did they bust out the Nokia that I had in high school to record this shit? Why? You mean to tell me with all the tech today, motherfuckers got cameras in their glasses now? and the best quality we could get is a 240p, like some bullshit. Yo, the Spider-Man one looked like it was recorded through a foggy window. I don't know how people were able to decipher any of what the fuck they were seeing there. So I had to rely on other people's breakdowns. I mean, I'm partly joking, but holy shit. All right. So what happened in this leaked trailer? The leaked trailer, one of the things that I think happened was the fact that I think it cleared up who Sadie Sink is playing. We'll get to that. It also cleared up maybe a little bit of why Bruce Banner is in this. We don't know why, how the Hulk becomes involved. So those are some things we learned from the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer. There was also a trailer. Actually, let's talk more about Spider-Man before we get into Doomsday. What do we know about this movie so far? All right. Based off this trailer, we heard this. We heard Sadie Sink's character say this to Spider-Man in a dark alley. She says, "You're a mess, Spider-Man. Don't get in my way. Otherwise, it won't just be your friends who don't remember who Peter Parker is." What does that tell you there? That tells you that she's probably definitely 1,000,000% not MJ. She's probably definitely not Gwen Stacy. She's probably definitely not Felicia. She's not Black Cat. Most likely not Jean Grey either. It sounds a lot like she most certainly is Shathra. We talked about Shathra a few weeks ago here. I broke down her powers, who she is, where she comes from. She is a kind of extra dimensional being. She's a totem predator. Now in the comics, she first encountered Spider-Man when he traveled to the astral plane. She follows him back to Earth 616. She's able to figure out who the fuck he is. She poses as Sharon Keller, no relation to Helen Keller. Tries to destroy his life as Peter Parker. Also hunts Spider-Man as Shathra, trying to capture him and feed him to her offspring in a nutshell. So, what could have happened? How did she get on Spider-Man's radar? Let's talk about some other clues in this trailer. There was a spot in this trailer where, believe it or not, Tom Holland was shooting organic webs. They did it with Toby. They gave Toby his little organic web shooters. Yes, it did happen in the comics. There was a comic where Spider-Man goes under some weird transformation, turns into like an actual spider and shit, and let's just say it leads to him being able to produce his own webs. So we saw that here. There was a voiceover talking about a spider's life cycle and how it can lead to a rebirth. So this movie, in a way, is a rebirth for Spider-Man in the MCU. It is bringing him kind of back down from that multiverse element, that multiverse scope of story, more grounded. But what other type of transformations may have happened? There's a run in the comics where Spider-Man discovers that there was a supernatural component to his powers. That's been explored in other comics. It usually had some type of multiverse implications there. So we don't know if that's what they're doing here, but Shathra, the organic webs, talking about a rebirth in certain type of ways. Could there be a whole element that we're missing, like maybe some type of symbiote? Maybe there's a death of Spider-Man where he's reincarnated by some little alien black goo. I mean, that's crazy. That'd be a lot to pack into the beginning of this movie. So, who knows? What else from the leaked trailer? There was, well, the fact that Shathra, let's go back to what she said. Sadie Sink. We don't know if it's Shathra. We think it is. It won't just be your friends who don't remember who Peter Parker is. So she knows who the fuck he is. How does she know who Peter Spider-Man is? Then there's another leaker came out and explained the whole Department of Damage Control. They're supposedly after Sadie Sink's character because they incorrectly believe that she's a mutant. So that also leads to a whole nother thing to discuss about the Department of Damage Control. We've seen them in Spider-Man movies in the past, and I think they were even in She-Hulk. They're supposedly building themselves into an anti-mutant task force in the Mutant Saga. So that's why they're after people like Kamala, Peter. Supposedly they're going to be after Simon as well. Interesting, taking the Department of Damage Control, turning them into a kind of anti-mutant. Nice way to tie the two sagas together. So that is the Spider. Oh, we also, one thing I'm leaving out, we also saw at the end of this trailer, Punisher show up. Punisher's in there, and he kind of says something to the, what do you say? Oh, he tells Peter, I think Peter asked him, what's he doing? He says, saving your ass, can't you see? So it looks like maybe there's going to be some of that similar dynamic that Punisher has with Daredevil, with Red, where Punisher's doing a little too much. Maybe Spidey's on the side, bro, let's reel it back a little bit. We don't need to be fucking killing everybody. Bruce Banner's in this. We saw him quickly, and he's talking to Peter, and he just says something like, you're not one of my students, and then Peter goes, trust me, Banner, I need your help. So who knows what he needs his help with? Why would he seek Bruce Banner? Bruce Banner obviously doesn't remember him. Could something they do, some experiment? Could it be something like when Peter went for Doctor Strange's help, screwed things up even more? Does he go for Bruce Banner's help and then somehow trigger this Hulk, Great Hulk, whatever the fuck Hulk? I don't know. Possibly. All right. Next piece of news, or next trailer, was the Doomsday. It finally was released. There was rumors about it last week. I even held the show up a day just to potentially talk about these rumors, and all we got were the Supergirl trailer, which was pretty good. The Doomsday teaser has leaked. So what we know so far, this one I did end up seeing an HD version, although at first there was the most shitty quality fucking version you could find, almost as bad as the Spider-Man teaser leak. And there was so many accounts that came out, described what exactly happened. So if you haven't seen it, here's what happens. It opens up with Steve Rogers riding a motorcycle, pulling up to this old suburban house, 1950s era, similar to the house at the end of Endgame. He enters the house, picks up his old Captain America uniform from Endgame. He's looking at it, folds it up, puts it in a drawer or box or something. He chooses to leave that alone. Instead, he picks up a little infant child. Screen fades to black. Text says Steve Rogers will return in Avengers Doomsday, followed by a countdown. And the audio it's a very stripped down, I think like piano only version of the Avengers theme. So, not the most revealing trailer in the world. It does confirm, or not confirm, it feeds into one of the rumors that we've discussed on Only Comics. It feeds into the rumor that Doom is on Cap's tale. Cap's on Doom's radar for something he did, going back in time, fucking with the stones, some shit. It does feed into that rumor. Who's the child? I know in some comics he has a daughter, Sharon Rogers. Does that mean that Steve really just, lived that full life with Peggy like he talked about? Why is he returning, right? So the text at the end of the little teaser says Steve Rogers will return. Now, it doesn't say Captain America. People you're bringing Cap back. You're going to ruin what you did with Sam Wilson, and that was supposed to be Cap, and yada, 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 all this shit. People are upset. They've been upset. Bro, where the fuck was that energy when Captain America Brave New World came out? Because like 12 of us went to see it. Everybody's a defender now. I can't believe they would do that to Sam Wilson. You did all this work to build this character up, and you're just going to bring Cap back. Steve Rogers will return is what they said, number one. We don't know who he'd be playing. We don't know if this is Steve Rogers on the Avengers side, or is this the Captain Hydra one? Who the fuck knows? Also, if it's this young Steve Rogers, then who the hell is the old man that came back at the end of Endgame? I just thought it was very interesting that it says Steve Rogers, not Captain America, because people are crazy upset about that. Like, just going on, having a full crash out. Now, I know I had, hit my breaking point a couple times this week. I had a crash out on Only Comics about someone telling me that a movie that they've never seen is not something that I should get that excited about. They never fucking seen it. And then after the John Cena, smiling tap out, had a little mini crash out on other stuff as well. But people were having a crazy crash out about this on Twitter, on the X, on TikTok. You bring in this guy back. It's cheap. It ruins Sam Wilson. It ruins Cap, all this shit. Must I remind you that there was a time in the comics, read a comic, in the comics, where there were two Captain Americas at one time. I'm not saying Steve Rogers is coming back to be Cap. He's Nomad in the comics at times. He could be Captain Hydra. He could just be Steve Rogers. It could be two Captain Americas. We've had that before too. So I don't think it cheapens. I don't think it ruins it. The problem is not everybody showed up for Captain America Brave New World. Not everybody accepted Sam Wilson as Captain America. I'm down with it. I'm cool, but it didn't hit with the core audience. It did not hit with everybody. So it's not cheap to bring this guy back and it didn't hit. You want these movies to hit. I also think there's plenty of room for multiple Captain Americas. Like, do y'all not remember No Way Home? Was there not 3 Spider-Men in this movie? Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter 3, Toby, Andrew, Tom, Maguire, Garfield, Holland. I mean, come on. So what, there can't be 2 Captain Americas in one fucking movie? Of course there could. Doesn't cheapen one versus the other. A lot of people are not that excited about having having Chris Evans and RDJ being the 2 major focuses of this movie again. They go, it's cheap. It's Civil War II. Dude, here's the thing. If the movie's good, I don't care about shit like that. That's cheap. They could have been more creative. If it's a good movie, tells a good story, it's entertaining, it's not offensive to the source material, I'm down with it. I don't think everything needs to be a reinvention of the wheel. There was another teaser that I did not see. I've heard about this, heard some audio even, and seen some pictures, but it's hard to tell now with the AI, bro. It's like for every real leak, for every teaser, for every video clip that is actually of the real video, there's 20 fucking AI versions. I saw a Doomsday one with Alien. Like, dude, it's like some of it was real. Then they had like characters from the fucking Alien movies in there. They're bringing the chick because she needs to kill the alien. Like, it's wacky, dude. Fucking weird time to be looking at shit on the internet because half of the shit's fake. But there was a second teaser focused on Thor, which speaks to the rumors about Thor dying, rumors about Thor kind of getting his redemption in this movie. We've heard all this. In this clip, there's a Thor's alone in a forest. He's wearing the armor. It looks kind of weary, tired. He's kind of fucked up, you know. He's having a shitty day. He drops to one knee, prays. He prays to Odin, and he says this: "Of all the crowns, the kingdoms, the pride, I ask for none. Father, hear your son. I am not worthy of life, yet I beg you, let the thread run long. Not for thunder, not for war. Let me stand long enough to see my love once more." Pretty poetic Thor there. Kind of reminds me of the old school Thor from the first movie, from the first Avengers, that Shakespearean Thor. I miss this kind of Thor dialogue. And then it ends there. And there's a text that says, Thor and Loki will return in Avengers Doomsday. So, which I think we've all known that, right? But what's going on with Thor? Why is he praying to Odin? Why is he talking like it's the end? He says, I beg you, let the thread run long. Not worthy of life, he says. And then he says, let me stand long enough to see my love once more. Now, love could be talking about his adopted daughter from Thor, Love and Thunder. Could be talking about Jane Foster. Could be talking about his mom. Who knows? See my love once more. That was leaked. So I've not seen that one. I saw the Cap one. Now, I think we got a little too hyped. We're hyping up a Doomsday trailer, and you hear trailer, and you think you're going to get something like what we saw for Supergirl. Well, dude, Supergirl comes out this summer or next summer in like 6 months. Doomsday's a year away. It's crazy to think we would have gotten something that big. But this does save me a trip to go to the movies to buy a ticket for Avatar 3, movie I have no interest in seeing because I don't need to go to the theaters to see this shit. There are supposedly 2 more. Now, the original rumor said that one would focus from, give you the perspective of the OG Avengers. One would give you the X-Men. One would give you the Fantastic Four. Obviously, that's not what's happening. It must just be these little, these clips are almost, the way they're described, they sound like they would be post-credit scenes. That's what these feel like. These feel like post-credit scenes, not teasers. Like, if Endgame actually had post-credit scenes, these would have been them. Maybe these are what they're going to add, in next year when they re-release Avengers. Maybe there's another one we haven't seen yet that they're going to add. So, who the fuck knows? All right. Let's talk some music. We're talking about, we were on the live last Friday. We're talking about music. I'm always playing music on the live. A lot of hip-hop fans that watch this show, watch this channel. And y'all know I'm a big Nas fan. I've talked about being a big DJ Premier fan as well. We had talked about producers on here a few weeks ago. And there was an album released last week, Nas, DJ Premier, Light Years, it says. Light Years it's called, because it fucking felt like it took light years to be released. This is like a 30-year wait, damn near. That's a little bit of a stretch, but since Illmatic debuted in 1994, DJ Premier produced New York State of Mind, Memory Lane, and Represent on that album. That was To me, that's the best hip-hop album of all time. That's the perfect album. It's a masterpiece. Lyrics, production, story, bars, every fucking thing. It was hip-hop. It's the perfect hip-hop album. If fucking aliens, well, they live here already, but if they popped up here, if they showed up here, they want to show me all their little weird bubble tech and, here's our spacecraft and fiber optic, all that shit. And they asked about hip-hop, like maybe they just, wanted to know about hip-hop. I'd give them this album. So since then, I think we've all wanted a DJ Premier, a Primo, Nas album. In 2006, though, there was a little bit of a tease. Nas and Primo were both on the cover of Scratch magazine, just kind of implying that there was, a project. So nothing ever happened. Then the Legend Has It series. The Legend Has It series was a series of albums rolled out from Mass Appeal this year. There was albums from De La Soul, Ghostface Killah. So it was, legends, hip-hop legends. This was the last album of that release. So I thought, shit, Nas Primo album. I mean, this could be a great fucking album. I listened to it a couple times. Here's what I have to say. It's hard because it's not what I was. It doesn't hit the level that I was expecting because it's a Nas and Primo collab album. It does not. I'll give you an example of top tier Primo collab album. Prime, Royce the 5'9", DJ Premier. It's a group. It's called Prime. The concept of the first album. There's two albums. The concept was taking samples from one individual and crafting an album of beats around that individual sound. First album, it was Adrian Young. It was a composer. It wasn't even like songs. It was, I guess, certain, I don't know the fucking musical terms, but certain chords and shit that this composer put together. That's why it has such a unique sound. And he sampled only his shit for this album. And then the second one, I think it was Ant-Man Wonder. He sampled all of Ant-Man Wonder's shit, which it didn't have the same level of impact. Didn't have the quality of sound of the first album. So that's not what we got here. And I'm a big Nas fan. I am. I think that he just had a 6-album run in the past 4 years because this album is outside of that run with Hit Boy, which really, I think, it helped Nas evolve into someone that you want to hear their new shit at this level. A lot of these guys put out albums all the time, like, Wu-Tang, or not them, not the whole group, but Ghostface Killah, Raekwon. There's always albums coming out from hip-hop legends from the 90s, and I really never listened to them because they're not the quality of those ones. This album's for people, and no offense if this is you, so I got some friends that are in this category. This is an album for hip-hop fans in their 50s that just want to hear guys from the fucking 90s try to make music like they did in the 90s. I'm a huge Nas fan, and this is by no means a bad album. I think you probably, based on what I say, you think I'm shitting on the album. It's by no means a bad album. It feels safe, though. It feels like it has really good production, has really good songs. It's a really good album. But I think that, for me, I guess I can't speak for everybody else, I was expecting amazing. I was expecting classic. I was expecting an album that we were going to talk about for a decade. Maybe unfairly, maybe I put that expectation there unfairly, but An album that's almost 20, I mean, you could argue 30 years, but I'd say probably 20 years in the making. And it doesn't meet the quality of your most recent run with Hit Boy. Like, it's also, think about this. You did a 6-album run with Hit Boy, only Hit Boy's beats. And then you finally put out this Nas Primo album. And it's hard. Now, I probably got to give it some more time, but it's hard for me to put this album over that run. I mean, maybe this album, Light Years, is better than the first album from that run, King's Disease, but King's Disease 2, 3, and Magic 1, 2, and 3 are all superior Nas albums. But again, not bad. I mean, we're comparing an amazing artist's catalog. So I just think as a fan of both of these, I was expecting a lot more. So if y'all have listened to, I know a few of y'all have. If you guys have, let me know what you think. The album, as far as streaming, did 2.3 million streams on its first day. I mean, those are solid numbers for like a legacy artist, but I think during that same week, 21 Savage did 8 million streams in a day. But hey, 2.3 million streams first day. I don't know what it did after that, but pretty strong, I think, for, legends in the game that aren't putting out music for the masses anymore. AZ was the only guest on this, a lot like Nas's first album. Unfortunately, I think that's where the comparisons stop. I just think even the production, it's primo. So it's not, by no means is any of the production bad. I've heard a lot of primo shit that was a lot better than the production on this album. It's an odd album to me. It feels like almost like an exhibition. Feels like a practice run almost. So it didn't meet the expectations that I unfairly, I guess, set here. Something else that didn't meet my expectations initially was the John Cena Gunther, the retirement match. Cena, he didn't just lose this match. He fucking tapped out. He did the little Obi-Wan Kenobi. Did a little smirk, which Cena actually shared that photo on his social media of Obi-Wan. So I guess it kind of explains, like, hey, I got to do this to let these other guys do their thing. It's passing the torch, right? I mean, shit, he's put over Reigns, he's put over Solo, he's put over Austin Theory, but tapping out is the ultimate rub. Triple H was booed heavily. They flipped him off. There was a funny little part where everybody's flipping him off, and he turns around and he's like, wow, I'm surprised there's so many Bloodline fans here by putting up their ones. So he handled it well. Was it the right decision or not? I think what I'm struggling with and what a lot of people are is not just the fact that Cena tapped out, because he's tapped out before. I mean, not in fucking 20 years, but it's not that he tapped out. The thing for me is the fact that it was Gunther. I don't know. At the time, it felt wrong. Why are they giving this to Gunther? Because it's a hell of a fucking rub. I mean, it's like a, and not at the same level, but it's like a Undertaker streak type of rub. It's not a championship. It's not a Intercon. It's no belt. It's no Royal Rumble. It's nothing like that. It's not a tournament. It's the guy who made Cena give up. The never give up guy give up. It did generate, as they say in the biz, nuclear heat. Monday, Gunther comes out. His promo is just basically, I made John Cena tap out like a bitch. Crowd was hot, dude. It was hot. So as much as I had my crash out yesterday on other stuff about this, I understand. I think I was blinded, as you know, as Hulk Hogan would say. I think I worked myself into a shoot, brother. I think that I was marking out a little bit. I was like, don't make the never give up guy give up. But taking, or I guess that aside, trying to look at this objectively, was it the right decision to make him tap out? It's the ultimate rub. It's the ultimate gift to the business. So, yes. But was Gunther the right choice for this rub? That I don't know. I don't think the heat on Monday was a good barometer because, dude, I could have fucking made Cena tap out, showed up Monday, no one even knew who I was, and they would have booed the shit out of me. So it's anybody could have got that reaction from that rub. But I think it's contingent upon what happens next with Gunther. What are they going to do with him? Can he continue to have this heat? Does he need a belt to have this heat? Well, whose belt is he going back for? Cody's belt? I don't know. I don't envy being in Triple H's spot trying to figure all this out. But I think any decision you make here, it's going to get critiqued. It's like the streak, Undertaker streak. Unlike a lot of people, I do believe that Brock Lesnar was the best, probably the only choice to break the streak at that time. Also, what we've seen with Undertaker since those matches at WrestleMania, it was also the right time to break that streak. Honestly, since losing to Brock Lesnar, since the streak was broken, what amazing Undertaker match have we seen? Even that match wasn't amazing. So you could go the year before with Punk and the years before with Triple H. That was really the end of that prime Undertaker WrestleMania. I mean, the Bray Wyatt match wasn't it. It was okay. The Reigns match was a fucking disaster. And then the AJ match was a cinematic match that was produced very well. But I can't even look at that through the same scope as these other matches. So I do believe that Brock Lesnar breaking the streak was the right decision. He then destroyed John Cena at SummerSlam. He then lost to, kind of got cheated out, Money in the Bank cash-in, but he eventually put Roman Reigns over. And obviously we see what type of star Reigns has become, and you can't say that didn't help. Yes, changing the character, tribal chief, all that shit, but that definitely helped put him on this trajectory. So John Cena tapping out, yes, it was the right decision. I don't know if Gunther was the right person to have him tap out too, though. Speaking of the belt, so if Gunther's going after Cody's belt, that would make more sense than Punk's, because right now Punk's in a little bit of a feud with Bron Breakker. Punk dropped the promo this Monday, Nepo baby, all that good stuff, right? The masked person was revealed to be none other than Austin Theory. He's got a new look, shaved his head, looks a little psycho. I think that Austin Theory, packaged the right way, no diddy, can be a major player. I'd much rather see him than LA Knight on my screen. Much rather see that. So I think he can be used properly, be written properly, and he's been off TV long enough. That's the thing, too. People, they're wasting Austin Theory. Vince McMahon would never do that, and blah, 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 and all this bullshit. Bro, everything can't happen overnight. Give this shit some space. Give it some time. Let him off TV for a little bit. Now they brought him back. He's going to be with the Vision. Okay. Be interesting when Seth Rollins comes back. Is he going to run this vision, or is he going to feel slighted at all these moves and additions that happened that, you know, when the wrestlers come back, they act like everything that happened on TV they didn't know until then. You know, it's like a shock. Oh, my God, I can't watch Raw. Bron Breakker, CM Punk. What's going to happen here? It's another passing of the torch. They're going to wrestle January 5th. This is the first Raw of 2026. They're treating this like a massive, it's not a PLE, but they're sure as shit treating it. They're treating it like they did the Netflix debut episode. It's going to be a big fucking deal, right? So will CM Punk lose to Bron Breakker at the first Raw of 2026? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think something will happen to screw this up. The reason I don't think so is I don't know that WWE has the balls to do something this crazy. Because what would be cool to see would be Bron Breakker destroying Punk. Absolutely fucking destroying Punk. Maybe they do this. Maybe I changed my answer. Maybe Bron Breakker does win. Maybe Bron Breakker absolutely destroys CM Punk. First Raw of 26. We're talking about these moments. We're talking about Cena tapping out, smile. Oh my God, oh my God. Talking about Brock breaking the streak. Bron Breakker breaks Punk in half, wins the belt, one-sided match. And then you can have the ultimate redemption story. You can have Punk win the Rumble. And I'm not even a Punk fan. You can have him get his revenge at WrestleMania. Why not? Either way, a lot of interest in this event, this TV event. It's not even a PLE, this Netflix event. January 5th, so a couple weeks out. Next PLE is January 31st in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. First time the Rumble is outside of North America. So the winner of that match is most likely going to walk into Rumble as the champion, while the loser probably enter the Royal Rumble itself. So the other thing is, if Breakker loses, you got to make it make sense. Number one, we can't see a clean Punk just beats Breakker, because they're selling me on this idea that Breakker's unstoppable, that Punk can't keep up, that Breakker's this young, fast, explosive character, this explosive guy, this explosive force. So we can't have Punk just, fucking go to sleep shit, win, oh my God. But Breakker loses, he's probably going to win the Royal Rumble. Speaking of Cena tapping, there was 4 times, well, I guess 3 other times that he's tapped. One was to Kurt Angle, one was to Chris Benoit, and the 3rd time was to Chris Jericho. Now the 4th to Gunther. So, hell of a thing, though, to add to your resume and say the man who retired Cena, the man who made Cena give up. So, I get it, dude. I get it. There was a pretty massive spike in viewership on that next episode of Raw. So, who knows? Maybe it's working. Couple. I guess we're gonna bring it down a little bit for a minute. We talked about this guy, David, this rapper. He is he's in some type of investigation right now for a death of somebody, or a missing individual who they believe is dead. And I'm not going to go through everything that happened. We talked about that in the past here, but a private investigator, Steve Fisher, was hired by the homeowner of the Hollywood Hills mansion where David was staying, okay? He found something at the property. What he found was a burn cage. Burn cage is something that is used to incinerate documents, refuse, but in this type of investigation. They're assuming that it could have been used to destroy evidence, clothing, even evidence, body parts, shit like that. The reports are using words like sadistic to describe things they found at the home. So this isn't even just about the body found in a car anymore. It's about a potential crime scene at the residence itself before the car was even abandoned. So David and his entourage left this Hollywood home on July 29th, leaving for Thor. That's when the Tesla was moved, abandoned around the same time. But the body wasn't found until September. So this cage may be a pretty big piece of evidence here. The car was registered to David. Now, the burn cage that was at his actual residence, little different situation there. It was delivered, but it was under somebody else's name. Crazy fucking thing to find at somebody's house where there's a missing body involved is a burn cage. Why the fuck would you need a burn cage? And this guy, David, now is considered a suspect. People believe he had help. Girl was only 15 years old. They got the tattoo link, same tattoo, all this shit. And he's canceled the remainder of his U.S. and European tour. So some crazy shit. Speaking of deaths and shit like that, this past week there was a legendary director, Rob Reiner, 78 years old. Him and his wife were found dead in their house on Sunday, December 14th. They were stabbed to death. This is crazy shit. They find out it was their son, Nick. He's been arrested, charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Nick has a history of addiction. The night before, supposedly there was a blowout argument between Rob and Nick at a holiday party hosted by Conan O'Brien. Just hours before the murder, Nick appeared in court today. He was wearing a suicide prevention vest, and he has not entered a plea yet, and his attorney has asked for a delay until January 7th. So crazy, crazy situation. The reason I brought this up is fucking Donald Trump, this motherfucker. He came out and said, I'm not going to read his whole statement, but he said this about Rob Reiner. Apparently Reiner's a liberal, which, I mean, most of Hollywood is. It's not really that shocking. He says that, Trump says, due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome. That's really what he fucking said. He said that Reiner was tortured and he's drove people crazy, all this shit, to the point where other Republicans have come out and said things like Massey said the comments were inappropriate and disrespectful. Discourse about a man who was just brutally murdered. Chris Christie said it was completely shocking and not the least bit surprising. And then Senator John Kennedy said he should have said nothing. Which, yeah, I mean, dude, listen, it's disgusting that, because of somebody's political opinion, this is how the president chooses to talk about him after his death. Pretty fucking disgusting, honestly. Whether you like the guy or not, I mean, brutally murdered him and his wife because they had a blowout with the son. I don't think anything justifies that happening. The one role I remember Rob Reiner from was The Wolf of Wall Street. He plays Jordan Belfort's dad, and he's funny as shit. And I've read Jordan Belfort's books, and the portrayal of his dad by Rob Reiner definitely backs up how he describes his dad. I remember when he fucking answers the phone, the guy calling, telemarketer, while he's watching his favorite show, and he fucking snaps. He was a trip. He was a trip in that movie. Great character. That's what I remember him from. So, anyways, all right. Last piece of news. So, yesterday was December 16th. For all you nerds out there, that is the anniversary of the date Howard and Maria Stark were killed by the Winter Soldier. Everybody, we've all seen Civil War, one of my favorite MCU movies. And in that movie, Bucky's under mind control, and they always bring up this December 16th date, mission report, December 16th, 1991. This has sparked a big debate online from, whose side are you on? And I think that's one of the best things about that movie, Civil War, is how well it was written, how well you kind of are stuck in the middle between Tony and Cap. And I feel like I flip-flopped in that movie a lot. Initially, I was Team Cap. I did not, and I think as far as this part of the movie with the whole superhero registration shit or whatever, the Sokovia Accords, I was Team Cap. I don't trust the government for shit and fucking signing up, having them tell me what I can and cannot do. So I definitely was on his side. But then at the end of the movie, you get put in this position where Tony, he's moved on from the whole justice, not signing the Accord, all that. She's moved past that. He finds out that Bucky is the one who killed his parents. Now, he was under mind control, so you could argue, well, Bucky didn't really do it. Hydra made him do it. He was used as a weapon, which I get. But in the moment, he finds this out, and now he snaps. Now he's back to trying to kill him. And Cap takes Bucky's side. That's his boy, his best friend. And then the fucked up part was Tony asked Steve, like, yo, did you know about this? And he admitted, yeah, I did. So Steve knew Bucky killed Tony's parents. So at that moment, I'm kind of Team Tony, dude. It's hard because, yeah, he was under mind control, but Tony's origin. This is a major part of his, who he is as a character. And the fact that this guy's responsible and this guy was supposed to be your friend knew about it. Nobody ever told you. That's the part that's fucked up. I think that Bucky should get some a pass because it wasn't on his own accord. He was told to do it. He was tricked to do it. He was used to do it. But the fact that these two motherfuckers knew this the whole time, they never said shit. I'm kind of Team Tony. That line. He's like, I don't care. He killed my mom, and then he just fucking shoots him. The 2 versus 1, obviously not fair. But Tony was holding his own for a little bit. He's fighting 2 super soldiers, close quarters, with the suit's AI all fucked up. He almost won this shit. Blasts off Bucky's arm, but in the end, Cap gets him. He doesn't fucking kill him. He just he just destroys his arc reactor with the shield. So whose side are you guys on? I flip-flop. I was on Cap's side. I'm still on Cap's side for at least the initial conflict, but in the end, I'm like, dude, I get Tony's reaction, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Although Steve Rogers is supposed to be the kind of moral compass of the Avengers of the MCU, and he kind of hid this lie forever. So who's responsible for really breaking the Avengers up there? Is it Rogers? Because I got to imagine Tony would have had a different reaction had he known about this prior to. Sure he still wouldn't have been fucking happy about it, but I think it would have been a little bit different. So anyways, Civil War, great movie. That also leads to the discussion about Doomsday being almost a Civil War 2. A lot of people are upset about this. So, why it's lazy, they're going back. Why are they bringing these 2 back? All this bullshit. I mean, it's still the same fucking cinematic universe. I don't think it's crazy to have these two playing main roles. I think they realized that they should have never killed off Iron Man. I mean, you don't kill off the main character and then want to continue this universe for 10 years later. I think that's the biggest issue. Everybody talks about Majors and Kang and that. I don't think that's the issue with the MCU right now. I think the issue is they killed off characters, got rid of characters that they fucking needed. Kill off Iron Man, you got no Iron Man. You bring in Robert Downey back to play Doom. I think he's also going to play Iron Man. You age Cap up, make him old man Cap. Now you're bringing Cap back. Why? Because you need Cap. A lot of what the MCU is based on is the run that we're doing, the Road to Secret Wars that we're doing. It's very intentional. A lot of the MCU is based on stories from this run. And guess who is at the center of all of them? Cap and Iron Man. Doom's not at the center until the end, which makes sense what they're doing here. So even if they did have Kang Dynasty, I'm sure we would have still got Doom in Secret Wars. So I don't look at it as lazy or whatever. I think, fuck, bring them back. It worked. It's still the same story. Might as well bring these two back. I think the big twist, everyone thinks it's going to be Doom's Tony Stark variant. I don't think that's the big twist. I think the big surprise is, shit, Robert Downey Jr. is also coming back to play motherfucking Iron Man. So, all right, before we wrap up, respond to some comments here on YouTube. We got Bloody Knuckles Show says, love that trailer. I think Lobo is going to be awesome, and the comic is dark. Awesome Gun said it will be dark. I'm sure with his comedy twisted in. So far, so good. I like the cosmic adventure. I wanted that Doomsday trailer. Hoping Monday. Well, you ain't get shit, bro. You just got some little fucking bullshit teasers. I doubt Marvel drops it on Friday. I don't know if you saw The Boys, Daredevil, and Invincible all come out in the same month. We're being good this year. No shit. One gym I train people at is Anytime. LOL. Y'all's owner is slacking. Anytime corporate won't be happy. That sucks. Bro, that whole fucking gym is slacking. Yes, they finally got power back, but everything else there fucking sucks too. It's just convenient. Rain, of course, Rain OFC says Rock versus Cena as a dual retirement match at Royal Rumble or WrestleMania makes sense to me. Well, too fucking late. He just tapped to Gunther. Captain Canada, Mike, I'll keep those tips in mind. Love the Supergirl trailer. Yes, very Guardians-esque. That Street Fighter trailer looked great too. Yes, it did. Momoa is busy next year with Supergirl and Street Fighter. Yeah, he's all over. He's about to be the new Pedro Pascal. Catch you on the live, bro. Catch you on the live, bro. Be back there on Friday. Yancy Vasquez says, if we're talking strictly WWE, John Cena, HBK, and Triple H are the GOATs. Cena put the company on his back when Vince was running the company into the ground in the 2010s. Plus, he's the only WWE wrestler that has 17 title wins, all being WWE titles. Love from Florida. And I actually commented back, and because I think Triple H over The Rock, Austin, Taker, even fucking Hulk Hogan, Brock, Reigns, it's criminal. And he responded and said, Reigns and Taker are on my top 5. Austin, Rock, Hogan were fading away by the time I started watching. That makes sense. And then last but not least, Fandom D Saint says, I grew up without an elf on the shelf, but I know for a fact when I have kids, I'll be creeping them out by moving it throughout the house like Chucky. Yeah, do you say that? And then you'll be waking up at fucking 2 a.m. going, oh shit, I forgot to move the elf. And then if you don't, you're going to have to explain why you didn't move. It's like forgetting to put money under the pillow for the tooth fairy. You got to come up with some bullshit. I don't know. It's too late. Oh my God, it's too late. The tooth fairy was busy today. It was a day off. I don't fucking know. The elf's on PTO. Some shit. It's going to happen. But thankfully, we are at the tail end of that because me and my wife have been doing that shit for 12 motherfucking years. Anyways, well, appreciate all of y'all watching. Subscribe if you haven't yet. That is Mike Check's been a fun show. A lot of shit going on in the news, new trailers, teasers, all kinds of shit. So hard, though, now to tell what's real, what's not with this AI. There's some good AI videos out there. I think that everything that we found out about Spider-Man, Brand New Day, makes me more excited for that movie. Doomsday stuff. I mean, I don't know. This last thing I'll say is this. Of all the content, of all the movies coming out in 2026, I don't think there's another movie, show, anything that is more anticipated than Avengers Doomsday. Will it do numbers like Infinity War? Endgame, I don't think it will do 2 million. I don't. I think that just because of where cinema is now, where the box office is, I think a solid 1.5, 1.8 is what it would do. Plus, it's going to be in the theaters, and then it's going to be out on fucking streaming in 2 months. So anyways, well, appreciate all y'all watching. Subscribe, drop me some comments. You know where to find this every single week, every Wednesday, right here. Mic check. We'll see you next week.